Go Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Every time we record a podcast, we get a message from our dear friend, Steven Dangle.
Do I have to keep my glasses on? You told me to put my glasses on.
You can keep whatever you want on.
I'm taking them off.
And his message is something like, hey, gotta be out of here early this time. gonna get down there, gotta get home. And every time we say, okay, Steve. Both of us, Adam and I finished work at 6:30 today, actually. So I was over here at like 6:40 because I worked 10 minutes away from where we record. And Adam literally works
across the hall.
How many? 7 steps? If you jump, maybe it's like half a step.
And I'm literally 7 steps home too. Like I'm close to everything here.
Yeah, so we can both be here at like 6:45-ish. We could get started real early.
Oh, sure.
We could be out of here when the clock's still at single digits.
We could.
Can you believe that?
But I don't think we will be, Jesse.
No, because somehow, every time, we end up starting around, 8. Because our dear friend Steve is never here at 6:40 when we say we're going to record.
Hey, you know what, though? Jesse, good on you for calling me out. But I think, like all things with this podcast, we need to give ourselves credit for a good team effort. I send a friggin' text while driving with my mouth. I go, hey Siri, send a text to Adam, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then they do it. It's magic. I don't have to touch anything. I say, I'll be here in 5 minutes. And in 5 minutes, I'm there. Adam, where are you?
I walked down the street. I walked down the street, Jesse, to the Tim Hortons that rolls 24 hours because there's a Tim Hortons in our building, but they kind of close up at 8 o'clock here, and they basically stop making coffee. It's like, and I don't blame them because there's nobody here and they have to stay open, and I don't blame them. But the coffee's fresher at the other coffee, so I thought, well, Steve said, can you guys handle the coffees? Because we agreed originally that Steve was going to handle the coffees because there is plenty of drive-thrus in Oshawa that he could go through and grab his coffee at.
Yeah, so that you can have friggin' piss-warm coffee by the time I get here from 5 suburbs away.
So I walked over to get fresh coffee for us.
Thank you, you hero.
And I was a little held up. There was traffic.
I have a follow-up question then.
Okay.
Why is the coffee a thing?
I need it.
Us getting you coffee. Why is that an issue? Why?
Us getting you coffee like I've never gotten coffee in my life.
Why must Adam and I...
I've never gotten it.
Why must Adam and I serve you on your podcast, Stephen?
Wow.
I just think
Is it not enough that it is your podcast? Must we also be your peasants around the podcast and feed you your libations every time we record?
Hey, servant boy. Servant boy.
I see.
Who is handling the coffee this time, gentlemen? It certainly won't be I. I am Stephen Dangle.
Jesse, I don't know. You've shaken my faith in ever getting the coffee because I just learned I've never gotten you coffee or Adam coffee, nor have I ever gotten anyone coffee. I was never an intern. I've never gotten anyone coffee.
Oh, no, because you're well past that point of getting people coffee.
You're
I'm not
right.
saying you've never done it.
He paid his dues.
At this, exactly. He's a trusted coffee man.
Wow.
Stephen Dangle has graduated.
I have 15 years to go before I'm a trusted coffee man.
I love it when Jesse brings it right off the bat.
I love it when Jesse is a dirty liar. Like I never get the coffee. And by the way, I wasn't done with the team effort part because Adam plumps his butt in the car and we drive down, we find a parking space, we walk up, and sometimes I'll look down at my Fitbit, look down at the phone, and I'll say, oh my gosh, we're so late. We're so late, it's okay. When we get to the studio, everything will be set up, we'll be good to go. And Jesse, I saw you work on a tweet for about 12 minutes. 12 minutes you're working on, you're carefully choosing the emoticon. It's got my face photoshopped onto it. It was Matt Sundin. I believe it was leovegas.net. Have we gotten to the promo for that yet?
We're going to have
We're
to.
going to after we're done
Yes.
fighting. After we're done with this.
It's a good segue if you want to take it there.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually retweeting that tweet right now.
No! You want to go off the hook!
I mean,
Fine.
Do they want to hear about your argument, or do they want to hear about how they can play hockey with Matt Sundin?
Thank you.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Right?
You know?
I mean, what would you rather hear
Gosh,
about?
when you're right, you're right.
Steroids, dingers.
We're all going to dingers. Jesse just shows that tweet under his oversized cap.
I'm going to
You're
read
Mark
Jesse's tweet to
McGuire.
you because it's quite good. It's almost like Jesse does this for a living. Play hockey with a bunch of Leaf legends by entering their VIP experience. Reading for a living, something I don't
Adam's just
do.
reading Jesse's tweet.
You'll also get hotel accommodations, a $500 gift card. Oh, and Steve Dangle will be there, plus plenty more. Head to leovegas.net for all the prizes you can win and to enter. Now, here's the thing. Let's say you're in the Toronto area and you win. You're going to get a $1,500 flight voucher. That's cool. You can use that at any time. If you're not in the Toronto area, guess what? We're going to fly you here. And we're going to drive you to the airport. From the airport, wherever you... Airport U, Delta, everything. It's going to be amazing.
Words.
And also, what's really cool, the Hockey Hall of Fame tour with Glenn Healy and Matt Sundin.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be fun. Ty Domi, Thomas Caberlet, Curtis Joseph, other VIPs to be announced.
But they have not been announced.
Not yet.
But they will be announced.
I'm waiting on that. I'm wondering, I'm not sure when they're going to announce them, but I'm going to have to get in touch with our peeps over at Leo Vegas, find out.
Got to get in touch with Leo.
Hey, can we talk about the most important news of the last, I would say, 72 hours in the NHL?
Yeah, I was surprised the Leafs didn't tender an offer to Keaton Middleton. But, I mean...
He's the Saginaw Spirit.
He's going to go back in the draft, and, you know, they have another shot at him.
They do.
Maybe they could spend another pick.
On Keaton Middleton.
Yep. Sign him to a 3-year ELC.
Well, I really wanted to talk about this. Patrik Laine shaved his neck beard. And that, to me, is the most important news that has happened in the last 3
more
days.
butter.
Have you seen it?
No more butter to be churned. Yes, that's the Patrik Laine I remember. That's what Patrik Laine looks like.
Well, thanks to Jesse again with the Tim and Sid account.
Well, thanks to Patrik Laine for putting it on the wall.
Well, yeah, but you caught it and put it up, and I was like, whoa. Here's the thing, though. And again, I would have told Patrik Laine this with his neck beard. I don't think he's going for maximum good-lookingness. Because the neck beard was already bad, and we knew it was bad, and he knew it was bad, and he's like, I know it's bad, so I'm going to do it anyway. Who cares? I'm going to score 40 million goals. But now he left this blonde little mustache, and it is the worst.
Why can't we just leave him alone for his facial hair?
Well, here's the thing.
None of us can grow. Okay, Jesse
Okay.
can. We can't
With
grow one properly.
mustaches, white hair works, dark hair works. I've seen some amazing ginger beards and some ginger mustaches.
Connor
but I
Brown
have
does exist.
I've never seen a blonde mustache work. Have you ever seen a blonde mustache work?
Once, ever.
Who?
Joey Crab. Used to have a really wicked Movember mustache. Remember Joey Crab? Former
Crab, yeah.
Leaf Joey Crab.
Oh, do I ever?
2 B's at him for you Googling that.
If you were born after 1968, should you have a mustache?
Well, I mean, half of Toronto's got the beard. Or do you just mean the mustache?
just
Just
like a
mustache.
furry mustache. Unless you're an elder gentleman, should you just not have a mustache?
Like Tom Selleck and everybody else.
Exactly.
My Uncle Rocky has a mustache.
When was he born?
The 50s, I
He
think.
sounds like he has a mustache. His name is Uncle Rocky.
Yeah.
Do you think Steve's Italian?
No, I have no idea. Do you like pasta?
I love pasta.
You got an Uncle Rocky. That's my favorite.
Rocco.
That's the best.
Who doesn't love Rocco?
Yo, it's amazing.
Rocco, Leonardo, Domenico.
So I'm just like, Patrick. So now I think what's
He's
going to
also
happen
a
next
Ninja
year.
Turtle.
Yeah. Shut up.
Remember when Stamkos went full mullet for a while?
He did go full.
He had like full on long, straight, stringy blonde hair. I think if I am Patrik Laine, I'm going full mustache with that blonde just because what the hell?
Gotta give
You already
him
did the
some
neck
time.
beard, right?
You know what? No, his next step now that we've ripped on it is to dye it. Like he's got to dye it like purple.
Are you challenging him?
No, I'm just predicting what he's going to do. He's Patrik Laine. Again, no matter what you say about my face, I'm going to score 40 million goals. So screw you. Here's a purple mustache. And then when I do score, you get scored on by a guy who has a purple mustache. Don't you feel silly?
I would feel silly.
It's even more humiliating.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
true.
play a violin
Whoa.
on my arm.
And then, so if he scores a lot of goals, you could say it's raining goals. So you could call him Purple Rain.
Oh, you know,
See what I'm saying?
I hope he doesn't do it anymore. I don't want him to do it anymore.
And they could just play Prince every time he scores. But the very, very slow Purple Rain.
Winnipeg
every time
would do that.
Oh, it'd be the best.
Yeah, just completely momentum killing.
Purple Rain! Purple Rain!
Just the whiteout. And then like super slow, somber.
Sweet. No, let's get to the real news, which is Washington and Vegas and the Stanley Cup. I think this is the fifth or sixth time in the last in the entire century that we've had two teams go head to head that have never won the cup, which is amazing.
I'm trying to
And it
think of
started
the
in like
last
the
time.
30s with, I think it was Detroit and Chicago. And then you had like, I remember the.
That doesn't count.
I know, right?
The league
I
just
know.
invented the teams.
Hey, you're new and you're new.
This is okay. So whenever I send a stat request to Sportsnet Stats, I go, okay, well, how long is this going to take to look up, and how long do I care? And I usually just go, okay, since 2005-06, because before that, I don't care. It's a bit of a different sport.
It's a different league. It's
Yeah.
a different sport, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe they'll look it up from like the beginning of 1980. But yeah, going back to the 30s is a little rough. But we're gonna have a first-time Stanley Cup champion. I love it. I love it, and not just any expansion franchise versus Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Like maybe the number one guy. Let's get this guy a cup. Guy in the league.
Versus the craziest story in the history of the NHL.
Yeah, and some of you might be like, well, what about Joe Thornton or Patrick Marleau? No, like, you don't understand. Those guys are Hall of Famers. Alex Ovechkin is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's
A Hall of Famer.
like top,
first ballot.
He's, if they ever did a list of the top 10 NHL players and ranked them, he's top 10 all time.
At least in terms of goal scoring.
Yes.
Certainly in terms of goal scoring. He's up there. I've
I'm
written
going to
about
get so
it
many angry
1,000
tweets about that. How dare you disrespect Jean
Actually,
Beliveau?
it's Tom Wilson, Adam.
Well, I wanted to ask, Ovechkin slayed the Pens, but can he slay Marc-Andre Fleury?
I just think it's amazing you haven't acknowledged how right you were yet.
I was going to wait for you guys to bring it up because I thought it would just be obnoxious of me.
Well, I'm throwing it out there right now.
I don't want to say I called this because I really didn't,
But you did.
but I sort of wanted it to happen.
You called this as of 2 weeks ago? Something like that?
Sure.
There you go.
We had the conversation on the show, and you guys we're like, who is it? Who's it going to be?
Jesse and I
and I
said
was
the
like,
opposite of
Tampa.
what happened.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And I said,
I think you win.
I said, to be fair, to own what I said,
You won the guessing game.
okay, yeah, that's
Congratulations.
right. I sure freaking did. I am
enjoy
superior.
your prize of nothing.
But honestly, in terms of storyline, it's the best thing that could happen.
It
And
is.
really, again, that's a real question. Marc-Andre Fleury has been outstanding.
Unbelievable.
Alex Ovechkin has been outstanding. But every time they've met head to head, Marc-Andre Fleury's come out on top. Is this the time?
Even when he wasn't in net.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, God. I'm having so much trouble with this one because, dude, I even said this in my video yesterday. I look at Vegas's roster. You know what weakens Vegas in my eyes? Every time I look at their roster. When I look at the results, they're strong as hell. But every time I look at their roster, I still can't believe they're here. And I can't imagine them stacking up to the firepower of Washington. And yet, I
What would
said
you have
that
said
for
against the
Tampa.
Jets?
I said that for the Jets. I've said it twice now. Am I going to strike out? Actually, I guess I've already
You struck out.
struck out if you count the Kings. So
Which you have to. You have to get the Kings.
then I've
You were
struck
very
out.
confident that they were going to beat
All right.
Vegas.
No, mulligan. Strike 4. Here we go. Like I have such a hard time picking a winner in this one. Such a hard time. And what's funny is Washington it's weird that we wrote them off as much as we did. I think we were a little bit more generous than some.
Well, I kept saying,
On the show?
I was the one that kept saying, man, this seems like, don't sleep on Washington. Don't sleep on Washington. They have no pressure. Like,
They dropped 13 points this season from last. Still had 105.
still won the division.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they dropped 13 points from last season to this, getting the same amount of points as the best season the Leafs have ever had.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. They're still a good team. Their big guys performed. Ovechkin had over 80 points. Kuznetsov had over 80 points. Backstrom had over 70. Oshie had a very good season. John Carlson was the highest scoring defender in the league. And the most amazing thing about how well Washington has done is Holtby was bad. Like in the regular season, he was straight up bad.
Well, he didn't start the playoffs, right? It was Grubauer that was starting.
Grubauer started 35 games this year. Like Holtby kind of lost his job for a little bit, and he's been one of the best goalies in the playoffs. So if he can just keep it up, I see it being a very even, potentially 7-game series. Is it fair to say Connor Hellebuyck was just bad against Vegas?
I
thought he was.
I think he was, and it's funny because he was so good before that. But the killers in that series, and I think we may have mentioned this last episode, to me it was like whenever Winnipeg tied it up, it seemed like a minute later.
Yeah,
Vegas would come back and score. It would be like a minute and a half. Did that happen twice or 3 times?
3. I think it was either games 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3.
And all games that it had to be 2, 3, 4 because it was all games they lost.
Right, because Winnipeg won the first one.
And then they never led again. And that's the weirdest thing about that whole series. Could you have ever imagined the Jets not leading for 4 games? Not having one lead?
Absolutely unbelievable. And Mark Scheifele was like the only guy who could get a goal. No one else could buy a goal. Like I said, Laine didn't seem that dangerous to me, but like he was still buzzing. Wheeler was buzzing a bit, but like Kyle Connor, who I expected to be huge, wasn't in there. Ehlers was buzzing, couldn't get anything done.
I wonder if that was just, is that Vegas neutralizing them? Is that Marc-Andre Fleury being Marc-Andre Fleury the best we've seen of him?
I think in both series we just saw that the best goaltender usually just wins. Like everything goes into hockey. You match all the lines and everything. Usually it's just best goaltender wins because Tampa didn't score a goal since Game 5. They finished the series 7-period scoreless streak, which is insane.
Wow.
And Braden Holtby's become one of the best all-time goalies in the playoffs in terms of his save percentage and goals against average, where he ranks 3rd all-time with 50 minimum playoff games played.
Wow.
Dmitry Filipovich had a good one. He tweeted this 4 hours ago. In terms of like expected goals prevented, like goals that would have gone in, basically had you not been there. Over the past decade, Marc-Andre Fleury has had 2 of the worst playoff performances of the past decade. And he is currently having the second best.
Wow.
The second best ever. Games played 15. The best, Jonas Hiller.
Really?
Yeah, played 13 games, 9.43 save percentage. Stopped 17.75
Wow.
goals. And like Tuukka Rask is here. Tim Thomas when Boston won the cup. Jonathan Quick when they won the cup. Mike Smith when he dragged the Coyotes all the way to the conference final. Lundqvist is in there a bunch of times. Holtby's on there once. Man. Fleury's unbelievable.
So then now, okay, because we had Marc-Andre Fleury versus Jonathan Quick, and then the second round, I can't for some
Braden
reason.
Holtby.
No.
You're talking about first round.
Yeah,
my bad.
Goaltender versus goaltender. So Marc-Andre Fleury versus Jonathan Quick. Marc-Andre Fleury wins that. What's the second round again?
Martin Jones.
Man, never called that.
Vezina candidate Connor Hellebuyck.
And then now it's Holtby and Marc-Andre Fleury. And on the other side, I mean, it was Bobrovsky, which, I mean, Bobrovsky had an unbelievable year again. Mm-hmm. And then the second round, it was, Matt Murray.
Playoff, but yep.
And so like both of these goalies have really kind of slayed some pretty big names going in. This was not easy.
Vasilevsky.
Well, in the first round, Holtby didn't start. Remember? He didn't start the playoffs as a starter.
Did he come in after 2 games?
I think it was the first 2 games. Yeah, he didn't play. And then, he comes in the third.
It's just nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's just not, it's great. We have 2 teams that are trying to out-magic each other. It's magic versus magic.
This has been a great end of the season. It's been a weird year, but man, this is going to be so much fun.
I hope it's a really, really good Stanley Cup
I hope it's long.
final.
I hope it's 7 games, and I hope it goes in overtime. I hope it is just, because that's magic,
We
right?
deserve it. We deserve it. Also, from something that I wrote for sportsnet.ca, the most rested team, I think ever, from their first playoff game to game 1 of the Stanley Cup final was the 2012 Kings. Remember, they were just mopping everybody. They
finished 7th and then just walk through
mopped everyone. And they had, I think it was 35 collective days of rest.
Really? Throughout the playoffs?
I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound correct.
Then there's a 3-way tie for second. The 2015 Blackhawks, who had 32, they won the cup. Mm-hmm. the 2007 Sens, who lost to Anaheim,
yeah.
and the Vegas Golden Knights with 32.
Wow.
So
And I was
they're
like, how is that
going to
possible?
set the record.
No, sorry. They're not like at 32. Like by the
They will
time
be.
game one arrives, they'll be at 32.
So-
Over a month of rest.
So, but will the days in between the games in the Stanley Cup Finals count towards their days of rest? Or you mean
No,
leading
because
up
it's
to-
from game one of the playoffs till game one of the final. Yeah.
Okay.
What a bizarre
There you
stat.
go.
Yeah, I know. Did
you count all these?
No, shout out
Okay.
to Steve Fallon of the Sportsnet Stats Department. He is crazy.
And
Dude,
it's not even that they can research that; it's that they come up with these things. Like, where do you come up with this topic?
I sent this to him. I sent this question to him at like 10 at night. He sends me an email right back, like, when do you need this for? And I go, oh, maybe 2 or 3 days from now. I woke up to it. Like, they're unbelievable.
There's like, there's certain jobs where like one person can do it, or there's like several people that you'll never meet ever who could do that job. That's one of those jobs.
It is a several person department.
I would imagine so. I would imagine. How will Tom Wilson personally offend me in this series, do you think?
Man, I think he's going to be so offensive.
He's gonna
If
be
he's smart,
great.
he will be. I told you before the conference final began, I think, or at some point. Anyway, Tom Wilson has a chance. Like right now, hockey fans know who Tom Wilson is. Tom Wilson has a chance to become like a household name. The Stanley Cup final can make stars. Tom Wilson has an opportunity to become a star for all the right and all the wrong reasons. Vegas really hasn't had anyone stir the pot, I don't think.
It's been really a collective effort and Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah. Now, maybe, if you try nonsense with them, they'll just burn you because they're too fast, too hardworking. But
They
LA,
don't do a lot of the after whistle stuff.
no. And
just
the
walk
Capitals
away.
need to drag them into that. And by the Capitals, I mean Tom Wilson. One guy. Needs to be one guy. I would say like maybe Devontae Smith-Pelly, but I mean, geez, I don't even know if he's going to start the Cup final after
Right.
he blocked a shot with his head. That was unbelievable, and then he took a hard check. I hope he plays. He's a big part of that team. But Tom Wilson has an opportunity to be a huge, huge factor in this series. Not just as a nuisance. I mean, that guy's on the top line. Plays with Ovechkin.
There's this thing. I was, obviously in the last game against Tampa, I was tweeting everything that I could to just, bug Caps fans about Tom Wilson. But
You're really loving the heel role.
kind of fun.
Why do you do that?
Well, it's just. I'm just teasing. But the thing is that people think that I hate Tom Wilson, or that that I don't like the way he plays. I do like the way he plays.
No, but it sounds like you hate Tom Wilson.
personally, and his children.
Adam, I don't think that you hate Tom Wilson. I know that you hate Tom Wilson. I just want to hear you say it.
I just had somebody tweet me going, she set a reminder on Google for herself to send me Tom Wilson carrying the cup pictures after the series is over.
Like that's going to hurt your feelings.
I don't know. Anyway, it's hilarious. I think there are people that get the joke, and then there are people who are like really upset. Like they get really mad.
Yeah, what if you're a fan of Tom Wilson?
Well, of course, but
And
I'm
then
just
there's
kidding.
this- there's
and they're
this
like, what would you
guy-
say about Nazem Kadri? I'm like, Nazem Kadri can be very dirty. Look
Okay.
what he did to Tommy Wingles. Of course.
Okay, let's play a little imagination.
All right.
You're a Capitals fan, lifelong.
I can't imagine this.
Huge.
Can't jump into this one already.
Pretend a little.
All right.
Tom Wilson's your favorite player, watching him all your life, and this is the time he's gonna get his shot at the Stanley
Right.
Cup.
Watch him all your life.
Good guy.
I'm 8 years old. Good
And there's this guy in Toronto who's a Leafs
Wait.
fan.
Say where he's from one more time.
Toronto.
Imagine being an Albertan Caps fan. How much you would hate him.
And he sits all day on Twitter.
All day.
All day.
Poking Tom Wilson fans.
Just nudging. Just in there.
I'd be upset if I was that. If I was little.
I don't know
Timmy
that you
Wingles.
personally would be. Timmy Wingles.
That's his name.
Timmy Wingles. If Timmy Wingles had your disposition, he wouldn't be upset about basically anything
Why not?
on Twitter. You don't get upset about stuff on Twitter, do you?
No, if I'm Timmy Wingles, I am.
Okay, but if you're Jesse Blake with the name Timmy Wingles, you don't.
No, that's me.
No, okay.
I'm pretending. We were playing imagination.
You should definitely change your Twitter name to Timmy Wingles.
I
for
will
sure.
not.
I'm just saying.
Anyways, if I was a fan of a player and you were poking the bear at them, I'd be annoyed. I get
guess. I guess if I grew up on Dale Hunter, and that's my bar of what clean hockey looks like, then yeah, Tom Wilson seems like a hero.
Wow!
I mean,
wow!
Dale Hunter, if I'm a
Wow.
lifelong Caps fan, the last time they went to the finals, Dale Hunter was the captain. Dale, let me put my stick in your gut, Hunter.
Pierre Turgeon just liked this tweet.
Yes, he did. You bet you he did.
Wow. Wow. That is still one of the dirtiest things I've ever friggin' seen. I'm on Adam's side now.
No, all I've heard about Tom Wilson personally is that he's a really good guy. So I feel kind of bad, but I don't. It's kind of fun to get people going. So, and I look forward to your Stanley Cup tweets.
And at least
I was the one who said
fired
the Caps
Dale
were going to
Hunter's
do
brother.
it.
They fired him. Wasn't mutual at all. They fired him.
You know why? Because
Why?
his last name's Hunter.
You're right. That's why.
That's right.
Take that, Caps fans from Alberta. All of you. All of you.
Is there a Caps fan from Alberta listening? And
Lots.
you cannot be an Edmonton or a Calgary fan also. You have to be a full-on Caps fan.
Calgington Flabitals. They're still going strong.
The
They're
Oilers
big.
mascot is Hunter now, right? That scary thing, that cat that's going to kill everyone.
You're right.
It's Hunter.
I almost said Spartacat, but that's Ottawa. Yes, that terrifying mascot. It is a scary
Yeah,
mascot.
the lynx mascot that
why is it a
looks like it's
cat?
going to kill everybody. It is a lynx, Adam, not a cat. Yeah, this guy. He's going to murder you.
so scary.
Anyways, that's
should be
what
a-
that reminded me of.
It
We
should
have
be
a
like
fluffy little teddy bear, and they're like, we got this terrifying, nasty cat that hacks up fur balls.
He looks like he's kidnapping this small child.
He does look like
The
that.
Oilers mascot should be like a souped up, like off-road vehicle.
Just a Ram truck.
Yeah.
raised up on dually. It's got to be a dually, though.
Yeah. Raised up and lowered with one of those fart box things underneath it that makes it louder.
And the Calvin and Hobbes sticker of someone peeing on a Calgary Flames logo has to be on there.
And no, a Leafs logo.
Leaf
no,
logo?
A sticker of Ontario.
There you go.
We got it.
There you go.
We got it. Sorry, I may or may not know a few people who went to the rigs and they live up to all the stereotypes.
A lot has happened since the start of the week in Leafland.
No.
We kind of have to talk about that.
Yeah, let me check my Twitter real quick to see if they did anything today. Because they might
No,
have.
they didn't. They didn't.
No, I know.
They didn't. Tell me this. Let's start with
No.
the beginning here.
Okay.
Hunter is gone. We knew Lou was gone. Are we upset?
No.
Why are we not upset?
I don't think people made enough of a deal about how candid Shanahan was. Like, it's funny. There's been a couple of Dubas quotes over the past couple of days. Like, oh, well, what's your draft plan? He's like, oh, I think we're going to go out there and try to get the best players.
Which is funny.
Which is funny and also true. But Shanahan said, no matter what decision I made, I was probably going to lose two people. He's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's right. Do any of us think that Kyle Dubas, who lots of teams tried to hire,
He had 2 offers at least confirmed last year.
wasn't it the Coyotes and the Avalanche?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably more.
Probably more. So, do we really think that Kyle Dubas, who's gotten all these offers, was going to stick around under Mark Hunter?
No. But Kevin McGran tweeted that he was.
Okay.
Do you want to read the...
I mean, I like Kevin. I like Kevin.
Well,
I'm
here's
not
what he
dismissing
said.
him.
Here's what he said. He said, I had one agent tell me this is a firestorm of Brendan Shanahan's creation. Could have still had Lou as GM with Dubas and Hunter under him. Could have left things as they were and had to know how events would play out.
Man, no, bring that back up. I saw you click off it. I want you to read the first part again.
I had one agent tell me that. I had one agent.
Dude, this is what I talked about with the Kipper stuff. And people got on me for defending him. I wasn't defending him. I was explaining the English that came out of his mouth. People are what? People are.
keep going.
People are.
Just the way you say stuff sometimes is the best, and I don't think you realize
Kiprios
it.
was merely reporting what he was told.
Sure.
Kevin McGran is merely reporting what he was told by, read the first sentence again,
One agent.
people from outside the Leafs organization who don't know what they're talking about. Granted, I don't know who this agent is. Maybe he's got a client on the Leafs. But
Even
people
if he
from-
does, what does he know about the inner workings?
you know, probably not much. People from outside the organization are planting all these little things. It's just hearsay. And I guess that is what's going to happen if you don't say anything and you allow no leaks, I suppose. But it really is just people from outside of the organization spouting their theories. Can you read the whole thing? I promise I won't cut you off this time.
No, it's cool.
Okay, it's important. I know it's an older tweet, but
I had one agent tell me this is a firestorm of Brendan Shanahan's creation. Could still have Lou as GM with Dubas and Hunter under him. Could have left things as they were and had to know events would play out this way.
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't believe it. I don't
And Jesse
believe
immediately
it.
shook his head too.
I don't believe it.
Well, why would Dubas stay?
What do you tell Dubas? One more year? Maybe. Maybe you can pull it off. Maybe. I think if Lou stays, possibly. You name Hunter the GM? No, they're gone. They're both gone.
Because Hunter's going to be there for a while.
Yeah. And
or Dubas is going to be there for a while, right? You don't, Lou, you could say, okay, it's just one more year of Lou, and that's it.
And do we think the outrage would be the same if it was Hunter who was picked? The answer is no, it would be reversed. Twitter would be a lot more angry than the MSM, but...
Now, I tried to look for this tweet today.
MSM.
I tried to look for this tweet today, but our good friend Greg Wyshynski tweets so much that I couldn't find it. But it was basic. I should have copied it. Well, is Greg going to disagree with that?
No.
But basically, and I thought it was brilliant. He said, 2014, 2015, Lou, Hunter, our goal is to bring a Stanley Cup to Toronto. 2018, we're both out. And it's kind of a good point, and I think a lot of people had that reaction. And I think Greg is bang on. Andrew Berkshire even tweeted. He said, "Lou Lamoriello, I sort of understand." Mm-hmm. He said it seemed like a bad look for Mark Hunter.
Yeah, so we don't know Mark Hunter's next move. If he goes to another NHL team as an AGM, or particularly as AGM will be a little.
You got to think he's going to be a GM.
If he leaves for another team as a GM, dude, totally get it. If he just goes back to the Knights, I'm judging you for that.
What if he's an AGM? Are you judging him for that too? Because he already was an AGM in Toronto.
It makes some sense because the goal is for Dubas to be a GM for a very long time.
Sure.
Very long time. Whereas, Hunter could maybe go to another team. I'm trying to think of some of the older GMs out there. Maybe he goes... The Islanders was a rumor.
Of course.
I mean,
Lou's just worked with him. But Garth Snow...
That can make some sense.
Brian Burke said on Tim and Sid earlier this week that Garth Snow's got a contract structure that basically makes him impossible to fire for the next 4 years. Sorry, Islanders fans. Groan, but that's the truth.
I have the Wyshynski tweet if you want me to read it.
Here we go. Let's do it.
So it was like that meme format. Is that meme format dead? Where you're like... something, and then me, and then you put your reaction. That meme format's still live.
I think so.
Thriving, right?
Yeah.
Only you would think about that, by the way.
Oh my God, I think about this every hour of the day.
It's very important.
As he's on top of it, he's like, no, we need more butterfly guy memes.
Those are really good.
I have a Leo Vegas butterfly meme of you coming.
You do?
It's going to be awesome.
There you go.
Anyway, so...
Is that a journalism? Sorry.
We haven't talked about that on it.
No.
So people don't get that.
Yeah, dude, come on. With it.
Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to dive deep into...
No. Say the thing. Say the thing you were in the middle of
Greg
saying.
Wyshynski.
I'm so sorry.
Who we need to have on. I want to get his opinion on this.
No.
He may not want to talk to me
He's
directly.
banned.
He might
just
not
like
want to talk
Gary
to me
Bettman
directly
and
after
Brad
this.
Marchand and just say the word Adam Tom Wilson too. No, I want...
Which part of your house is that pillow from?
One of the couches.
Which one?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you not pick it up yourself?
Yeah, but like the pillows are all of it. Or wait, no, this is one of the pillows I was using to dampen the sound in my echoey room. I just had pillows and couch cushions and stuff on the floor.
You guys, I hate to tell you this, but nobody cares.
Jesse asked me.
I know, but nobody cares.
But if I ask him, he's going to respond, and it's hilarious.
I know. Out of love for both of you, can we just get this goddamn tweet out?
No.
Please.
No.
Please.
Greg Wyshynski said on May 22nd, Hunter and Lou, we're all here for one reason, to bring a Stanley Cup to the city of Toronto, or square brackets. A 32-year-old guy gets promoted to GM. Hunter and Lou, gif of I'm out.
I'm out.
There you go.
I don't know.
That pretty much sums up everything that happened.
It does. And that's the thing, like, you're right. How this reflects on Mark Hunter, and he's free will, man. He's allowed to do what he wants. But how this looks depends on his next move. It does. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
To To say that you wanted to bring the Leafs a cup, I would understand that when you start a job, yeah. But if you're truly devoted to doing that, you should continue to do the job, right?
It sounds like a mutual departure. Okay.
And also, sorry. We'll move on
have
to
we
that in a
talked
second.
about how he's not going to be AGM throughout the draft?
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up, but I wasn't sure if you had something else to say before we got to
the
that.
future is now. Well, what I was going to say is I don't know how many times we can go through the whole Hunter thing.
Okay,
I feel like people keep digging it up.
So the next thing,
It's done. He's gone.
he is gone. So the next thing was Steve Simmons just got off the phone with Mark Hunter, and Mark Hunter told him, this was several days ago, by the way,
Yeah.
that he would have done the draft with the Leafs, no problem. He would have been happy to do it. This is where I was like, okay, first off, if I'm Mark Hunter, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm a little pissed.
Okay.
And I'm dropping these quotes to Steve Simmons because I know he's going to get him out there as soon as possible to a huge audience. And I would have totally done that for them. For sure. Yeah, they just didn't. They wanted to kick me out the door. I'm sorry, who left?
I don't know if that was the intention. But, you know what I've heard of a few times before? I don't know if you've ever been in this situation, Adam, but every time I hear about this situation, it's mortifying to me. People who are in a relationship, they're living together, and while they're living together, they break up.
And then they're stuck together.
And they still have to live together for a little bit.
Most divorces.
Okay, fair enough. Are you going to let that person help you redecorate?
Probably not. No, you're not.
That's what Mark Hunter would basically be doing. No thanks. I'm not saying he's going to give it he's not going to give it his all. He's not going to give an honest effort. He's going to try to sabotage the team on his way out. I'm just saying, look, Dubas has Pritam now, who he promoted, and he's got Lawrence Gilman, who we should talk about.
We will get to that for sure.
That's the team now.
And the
that's
thing
the
is,
team. Go with those guys.
People keep talking about, Mark Hunter's draft record, Mark Hunter's notes. Well, they have Mark Hunter's
Which
notes.
one?
So that's the question now. And I don't want there to be revisionist history going on because I've seen it. But let's talk about Lou's record in Toronto. I think
it is technically Lou's, you're right.
It is Lou, but it is Mark too, because Mark was there the year before with Kyle Dubas, and Kyle Dubas basically ran the phones and started the Phil Kessel trade and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that first draft that Dubas and Hunter did together was, I think, a pretty good slam dunk.
Real good.
Real good. After that, though, they started to make the Austin Matthews draft is the one I'm in particular thinking about. They started to make odd choices.
I'm trying to remember.
I mean, was that the Nylander draft? No.
Nylander was 2014.
So this was 2015. It was Dubas Hunter.
I have everything
Marner.
up here so you can ask questions.
So it was Dubas Hunter in the 15 draft because that was the Marner draft.
When
Right?
did
Sure,
you get
that's
Grunstrom?
Marner. 2015 is Marner, Dermott, Bracco, Nielsen,
Great.
Lindgren, Timashov. That's 2015. 2016 is Matthews, Korshkov, Grunstrom, Joseph Wall, Adam Brooks, and really no one else. And then last year is Liljegren, Ian Scott, Ryan McGregor, Ryan O'Connell.
Like who?
Well, and what's frustrating, another thing that's frustrating, I guess, from Hunter supporters' perspective is Keaton Middleton goes back into the draft, and a lot of people go, well, saw that coming from a mile away. And in fairness, yeah. People were like, that was a waste of a pick. On that day, I remember people saying that. But
Why do you think they made that one?
because he's huge.
So that's the problem I have here. And I think as Leaf fans, you got to be objective. We were sold that Mark Hunter was the draft guru. We were sold that. And he did have some pretty good hits, even like a Grunstrom. Forget, Bracco and Dermott and all those guys.
Yeah.
Grunstrom's a good pickup. Janssen was before him, I think.
Janssen was before Mark
2013
Hunter.
or something?
Yeah,
2013, the year before.
Most of the team currently came before Lou got there.
So from 2015 is the draft we're counting where Hunter gets his input?
Believe so, yeah.
Is that where we're...
It was
2015, yeah.
2015
Nylander,
draft.
yeah.
So outside of Matthews, Marner, and Dermott, how many combined games does every player that he's drafted?
I think it's zero.
It's zero.
But
Yeah, but
does
still
does
early.
that matter?
no.
I don't think it matters
yet.
right now.
Sorry.
Okay.
The point I was trying to make with Keaton Middleton is dude, players go back in the draft all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
Every year there
Yeah.
are guys that they don't pick up. So it's not crazily extraordinary. If you have like a first or a second rounder go back in the draft. All right, now you got some problems. But they don't have that. Middleton was what?
So what are we to make of, and since we're on the subject of
He was
Mark
a fourth
Hunter,
round pick.
Yeah.
what are we to make of Mark Hunter's
101.
draft record thus far?
Is
it the draft guru we were sold, or is it was good? Outside, and we got to go outside of the first round here because Matthews and Marner are gimmies.
Okay.
Let's go back to where the draft guru reputation came from. I think it came from the fact that the Knights were good all the time. It ignores a little bit of there's an air of shenaniganery with
Rule
regard
bending?
to a little bit of rule bending with the London Knights. Allegations, anyway. Allegations. And any hardcore OHL fan will probably tell you, oh, yeah, I'm aware. And also, let's say there are no shenanigans at all. You know what Mark Hunter's really good at? Drafting 15-year-olds. There's a big difference. You know? It's only a 3-year gap, but it's a chunk of your life, man. Mm-hmm. It's a big important thing. You're drafting pro hockey players. You're not drafting junior hockey stars. You don't have you're not convincing players to come to London instead of Flint or something like that. It's a little different. So I think it's unfair to call him that from a variety of perspectives, including like in his favor. You know what I mean? And in terms of like judging how he's done in the draft so far, there are like people have models where they can go, okay, here's how this prospect is progressing. Like Emily Rassinen, I heard had he had a decent draft year, and he was drafted right around where he was supposed to be going. He was a 6'7" right-handed defenseman drafted last year in the second round. He was drafted right around where he was supposed to go, and then he didn't have that great of a year.
Which happens.
So people are going on those models, fine. But in terms of like whether or not they'll actually make the NHL or have an impact on the NHL, like, dude, we're half a decade away from knowing.
Right. So it's a little too early to call.
Yeah.
And I think unduly, people have been very hard on Mark Hunter and the scouting staff.
And we can never say for certain, unless it comes out and someone says it, who pushed for who to get drafted.
Right, but I think that there was a marked change when Lou Lamoriello came in and how they drafted. If you look at the way Kyle Dubas handled the draft that he handled, it's a very, very different template. And you know what? There's a hell of a lot more skill in that draft than any of the other drafts. Look at the names on that list. They're all at least Marlies.
They're all at least Marlies.
Except for Hull. No, was he? No, he was
Hull,
the next draft.
Hull wasn't a Leaf draft pick.
Not Hull. Wool. Joseph
Wool.
Wool. That would be Hall. But Joseph Wool. But that was 2016.
2015, I remember, was touted as like all they drafted was little guys draft. And I mean, if you look back, it's kind of true. Like Dermott might be the biggest guy. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think.
Can I just say that the idea that someone is good at drafting players is kind of absurd?
Yes, and I have my reasons. I want to hear yours.
It's just across pro sports, you see consistently that you just get lucky, and that guys who are really good fall to the 6th and the 5th and the 8th round across sports, and it just doesn't seem like it's a thing that you can be good at consistently. You take your best shots with your best percentages, but in the end of the day, you're just throwing darts at a board, and you're like, hey, I hope we hit.
And that whole thing of like, we drafted a player and he wasn't any good, and then we traded him, and now he's a star. Oh, why does that always happen to our team? Well, that means your team is decent at drafting and crap at developing. And we've seen that happen 1,000 times.
With the Leafs.
With the Leafs for a long time.
I don't want to take away from scouts. I think that you've got great talent evaluators out there, and there's so many factors that go into it, like you said, development. And then there's the whole controversy this week from the 31 Thoughts podcast, which was about, the player who was addicted to video games.
Oh, right, yeah.
And everybody was trying to find out who it was. And then they were wrongly accusing people. And it's, which is, there are many factors that lead to players not making it. The idea, though, that there's one guy who is like the messiah of drafting, just haven't seen it yet, right? Like everybody talked about for years, the Red Wings. what incredible drafters. They got Datsuk and Zetterberg in the late rounds, and they did.
Well, they passed on them 5 times.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. You passed on Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. The New England Patriots passed on him 6 times. So it doesn't. They weren't good at scouting because they picked him that late. No, they fucked up by picking him so late. And they should have picked him first overall.
They took a swing. And they connected.
Yeah.
That's all it is, especially late round stuff, right? Well, they've got this strength and a bunch of weaknesses. Let's try to connect on this. Let's see if we can do something with this.
I was going to look up Detroit's draft record, but
Don't.
no, we're just going to go down this crazy rabbit hole. Put it this way, it's poor.
But
In recent memory, it's poor.
But if you were to rewind 5 years, oh my God, Detroit with their drafting. Look at this.
Okay,
Thomas Tatar has come out of nowhere.
Who
is this guy? Gus Nyquist. Sorry.
You know how we crap on combined plus minus?
Yes.
And stuff like that?
Plus minus in general is ridiculous.
It's just bad.
Yes, but the combined plus minus is even worse. So if
You're just compounding a bad thing.
Yeah. So I saw a few people say stuff like, well, if you combine the amount of games 6th and 7th rounders have played for the Detroit Red Wings, I'm like, dude,
That's
Zetterberg played like 1,000 games. That's 2,000 games.
That's not
Jonathan Ericsson was drafted in 2002.
Last pick.
In the 9th round, 291, and he played 610 career games so
Is
far.
it fair to say that he is the best 9th round pick of all time?
No, you could probably find others. Dude, there used to be like 12 rounds.
Yeah, that's true.
something like
Dino
that.
Ciccarelli went undrafted and then scored 500 plus goals. You know why he was undrafted? Broke his leg. People were like, oh, look at those stats. They fell. He's not the guy.
Now, is that poor scouting? And,
Well, I mean,
or is it good development?
It was
or is it both?
It was the early 80s, man. They scouted differently back
it's the
then.
early 80s.
It was like, let's have a cocktail and
But like,
smoke a cigar.
like what I'm saying, like in Hunter's defense anyway, like
he probably did the best
Dmytro
that he could.
Timashov looks like a great pick.
Yeah.
Who made it? Like who pushed for that? Or was it a matter of Kyle Dubas is like, I know who I want to draft next. And Mark Hunter's like, me too. Okay, you go first. And they, both at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Dmytro Timashov. And they run up on stage together holding hands.
I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
Probably.
No, but there were some really questionable picks. Rasanen was one of them. Was a questionable 2nd round pick.
It
Korshkov, that we still don't know much about.
Korshkov was a funny one. But Rasanen went roughly where he was supposed to go. Korshkov, I think, was a little off the board. And there were some other guys there. What's his name? Kara?
This is the Detroit.
Oh, this is Detroit. Sorry. God, I don't even remember his name. There was one guy that Leafs drafted who, like, we couldn't even find, like, what friggin' league he played in. It was he wasn't on Hockey DB. And I remember just being like, that's a bad sign. Jesse can't even find him right now. No, there he is. Vladislav Kara in the 4th round. So
That's pretty high.
This year he played, again, like if you go to his elite prospects page, it's going to be a little more filled out. But all that shows up is his 11 games, no goals, no assists, no points, -1 on Akbar's Kazan.
His plus minus is a -1,
Well,
guys.
that's pretty good over a full season, gentlemen.
What a bum.
11 games.
11 full season games.
There were some weird picks for sure.
Yeah, that's
There's
what
some
I mean.
weird picks for sure.
Well, and that's the thing. I think it's interesting because the Leafs draft situation going into this season, arguably, they've got a bigger hill to climb in terms of depth of talent than they did with Dubas and Hunter because they already had Nylander in the system. Mm-hmm. And he's top end. They've got one top end Swede, and that's Liljegren.
Like I could not believe the Leafs made that pick. I still remember being there and going, they're about to draft Nick Ritchie. They're definitely about to draft Nick Ritchie, and they friggin' got Nylander. Mm-hmm. Can't believe it.
Was it the same thing with Hanifin? Could we have had a Hanifin?
We could have, or Werenski.
Could have had a fin.
Yes. So we could have had a fin.
Yes.
And Werenski.
If we were going to pick anybody but Marner, it would have been, for me, it's got to be Werenski all day.
You know what I'd like to ask Lawrence Gilman about? New assistant GM of the Leafs.
Assistant to the GM.
Is he assistant to the
No,
GM?
No,
he is.
I'm
I was
kidding,
about to say. I want to know where he stood in 2014, because I don't think he was fired from the Canucks until 2015. I want to know where he stood on the Canucks drafting Jake Virtanen.
Oh. he'll never reveal that. He works for the Leafs now. There's
Because
no
when
way
I
to-
saw they drafted him, I'm like, they have a chance. Carolina drafts Hayden Fleury. No way! And they get Nylander.
Can
Pretty
you
happy
text-
about it.
Can you text Sasky and ask her to give us his number? So
she
we can have
will.
him?
She will not have it. Things are so just from working their contract. Like I was on a contract with them. It is so locked down there. You would not believe it.
What's his WhatsApp?
No idea.
Come on.
I could text Sasky.
What's his
but she'll,
Skype?
she'll tell me to fuck off.
No. Ask
FaceTime.
her and see if
I'll
she
say
can.
Jesse wants to know.
Yes, and see if she responds by the end of the show. If we can have his number to have him on.
Jesse wants to know.
Be nice to her first. Like, hey, Nathan Walker's swell. You know? Just come on.
Butter her up a little.
Yeah. Be nice. And then be like, hey, by the way, can I get Lawrence Gilman's number? Can I FaceTime Lawrence Gilman?
Is it Lawrence with L?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it the
Lawrence, LAU, Rents, Gilman,
way.
only one L. Because he doesn't have time for two. He doesn't plan on taking L's in Toronto, is what he said to me over text. I have him on text. Are you just, really? I'm the only one talking right now?
Well, I mean,
this is hard.
It is your show.
We were doing something, Steve. You must fill time because your name is on the show.
I hate it. I didn't like it. I felt scared.
Well, okay, so I think what my point is, we don't fully know how Mark Hunter, being the head of the drafting, we don't fully know how that ended up. Right? We still don't know. We're still maybe 3-4 years away. It's nice to see Carl Grundstrom maybe, jump on and he's going to play well.
And what if Dubas was like, we need Fedor Gordeev? That was his pick.
Maybe.
If we get Fedor Gordeev in the 5th round or I quit on the spot. He threatens to friggin' fight Brendan Shanahan and kick Lou Lamoriello in the chest unless the Leafs draft Fedor Gordeev. It might have been him. You'll never know. Kicks him right in the chest. Bah! Front kick. Gets his glutes into it. Hips. Activation. Fedor Gordeev forever. More like forever Gordeev. We need him. And Mark Hunter's like, Jesus, dude, chill. No! And he slapped him. Slapped Mark Hunter. But like he didn't like Mark Hunter kind of move, so he slaps him in the neck.
Wow.
Slaps him right in the neck. So it's like a karate chop. Almost knocks him out like James Bond. It's messed up, man. Kyle Dubas is crazy. It's a loose cannon.
Can I just say I got up to change the camera? I don't like the direction that the show went.
I actually think
It
this
took
would have
a
made a
very
great clip on
sharp
YouTube.
right turn, and it's weird. Why did it get so violent all of a sudden?
Because of Kyle, man. I can't control him. He's crazy.
Crazy Kyle.
He's all over the place.
All right,
James Myrtle wrote a really
CK.
interesting article for The Athletic about how the Leafs
Crazy Kyle.
have already changed kind of what they're going to do. And there's been a few pieces on what the league looks at and that sort of thing. And I believe it was Scott Wheeler who reported that.
Oh, he doesn't write an article. He writes pieces.
He does write pieces. But
I don't want an article. I want a piece. Sorry.
Well, he wrote a piece about the fact that, and it was a piece. He wrote a piece about how the Leafs were, I think, examining a certain player for the late first round, and this guy was and forgive me if this is James or Scott, because I'm really not sure which one it is.
Dave Athletic.
The fact
Was it in
is-
The Athletic?
Yes, it was in The Athletic. So there's their shout out. They were talking about how they talked to this one guy, and the Leafs over the last year have talked to this guy. It's Ryan McGill, someone like that. Anyway, he is due to go around that time, and the Leafs were all over him. And then all of a sudden, phone calls have stopped. And it suggests to a lot of people that they're changing their strategy, or they might be going a different way, or maybe they've talked to him enough. But this guy was a guy that maybe maximum would be projected to be a second-line center in the NHL. Has a ceiling. He's obviously going to be a first-round pick, right? So that's pretty good. But it would be in line of what Freddie Gauthier was when they picked him.
Oh, boy.
Right?
And
So-
that was a pick where at the time, people right away were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it's still possible. Freddie, who's had a decent playoff, might be like a good fourth-line center, or at least a serviceable fourth-line center in the NHL. Listen, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt
and
here.
I like
I'm
Freddie Gauthier, but I
trying to
don't think
reach
so,
for
man.
him. I'm reaching for him. But, like, when he was drafted, they're like third line guy.
Elite third liner. Wasn't that where that
Elite third liner.
Isn't that where that came from? No.
Maybe. It might have been. It might have been Tyler Biggs. Another guy. First round, late first round, almost the exact same pick. Basically touted to be that guy. And then sometimes you draft that guy and he's Tom Wilson and he can play on your top line. But it's not often. It's rare.
It is rare. So it's interesting that, that would be the change in strategy. Quite frankly, the Leafs do, first off, need to move on from some veterans in the Marlies. I think it'll be, once this is over, I think there will be a pretty big shift with the Marlies.
Yeah.
You still need guys to play.
Absolutely.
That's why I don't mind veterans on your AHL teams.
Dude, like Jeremy Bracco's a healthy scratch right now.
And he had a point a game pace going into the playoffs. So I feel like, those guys need to get more ice time. And you're going to need extra guys because they play 3 nights in a row. Yeah. Right? So you're going to need at least a line to scratch. But I feel like they need a big injection of skill in that team. Don't you think?
With the Marlies?
Well, because there's going to be some real graduation. You got Kapanen, Janssen, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe Trevor Moore, which I'm fully on that train now. Liljegren's going to be gone within a season and a half. You're going to, you know what I mean? You got to have guys to fill those spaces.
In the minors, a season and a half is an eternity. Like you got forever to solve that problem.
I just think this is as I've said it before, and you said every draft is pivotal. This one's a big one. Yeah. This is a big draft for the Leafs.
Like Bracco is going to have a much bigger role on the team next year. I would suspect they'll have Engvall full time, potentially Grundstrom full time, or maybe part of the time. Adam Brooks will play a bigger role, and as his role has increased this season, he's gotten better. I don't think it's a problem. But like I do look at the Marlies roster and go, Colin Greening's playing instead of Jeremy Bracco. And I'm not the biggest fan. But I mean, they're winning. Right now it's 1-1 in game 4, by the way. Andreas Janssen scored again.
If they win tonight, that's the series, right?
It's a sweep.
It's a
That's
sweep.
a conference final sweep.
I want to go to the
Calder Cup Finals.
Calder Cup Finals.
Absolutely.
That'll be fun.
Absolutely.
Me too. I wanted to go to the third round, but it hasn't been comfortable to sit until the past couple days.
Yeah.
And I'm standing right now.
Old man Dangs.
Yeah.
So then we move on to who they've promoted. So Brandon Pritam. He gets to. I saw that Office meme posted like several different times.
Yeah.
Assistant to the general manager, now wiped out, just assistant general manager. Brandon Pritam's a guy that really was the capologist. He was a guy that helped write some of the CBA for the NHL. What do we know about Brandon Pritam and what's he bring?
Well, what you said about the CBA there, and I think one of the things Lou was given so much credit for is being loophole Lou. Well, who do you think was helping him with the loopholes? I'm going to go with the assistant to the general manager.
No, I've heard rumors that Lou is really into sitting at a computer and researching numbers himself.
And capology.
And capology.
And the rules of the CBA.
He has a really large calculator and uses it daily.
Yeah,
it's one of those calculators with the paper, though?
No,
those old calculators, the clunk, 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 clunk.
No, he actually uses beads.
Solar power?
Oh, he uses beads.
One of the abacuses, yes.
We gotta put Sash on waivers. Well, most people are saying that, yes. Yeah, but do we? Let me check. No, not really. No.
In 10 days.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, we got time. Let's use it.
Lou, I think Josh Levo is injured. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
He's rehabbing an injury.
And he's also a capologist, and the Leafs, who has done more finagling with the cap than the Leafs over the past few years.
Is Brandon Pritam the creator of Robida Island?
Probably.
Oh my God, he's the architect. Yeah. He's listen, maybe Lou was the Steve Jobs of Robida Island.
But he was the Steve Wozniak.
He's like, what? How about this? Lou was, how about this? And Brandon Pritam made it so. That is my theory. And once again, like with the Mark Hunter Dubas stuff, we're guessing.
Would Brandon Pritam come on the show?
Hell no. Most people didn't even know what he looked like until a couple days ago.
I don't think any of them would. I don't think we'd ever.
All right, so
him.
text
By the way,
Sasky.
Sasky wrote me back, and she's
oh, good. She gave you the number.
she's like, why would I? No, I literally have no one's number except Austin. I'm just kidding. I don't have his number either.
For a second.
I was like, yeah, that's cool.
I was like, what?
Also, why would you? Oh,
damn it.
She had you.
Banned from the show on Banned Island.
What is
Gary
that?
Bettman,
There you go.
Brad Marchand, Tom Wilson. Do we put him on?
Yeah, no, Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
Got you. I heard you last
No,
earlier.
Adam banned Tom Wilson a long time ago.
And who else? I forget. I think I banned someone
Sasky.
earlier in the show. Sasky Stewart.
So it's 4 people?
It's 4 people.
That's our Mount Rushmore of banned people.
Why are we putting Saskia on this?
Because she tricked us with Matthews.
She tricked.
How dare she? Tweet that. Take that for data. Sasky, how dare you? Play with our hearts like that.
Nice,
Terrible.
nice Fizdale reference.
I didn't know his name until you said it.
Lawrence Gilman.
New coach of the New York Knicks.
Really?
Yes.
I like that.
Lawrence Gilman. What do we know?
Man, I know that you need to stop listening to this podcast right now. No, I heard a really good podcast yesterday.
Would
It
be
was
Craig Custance.
Lawrence Gilman on with Craig Custance on the Full 60 podcast. And it's, if you're super into the inner workings, you'll like it. It's a little dry, and it's of no fault of Craig's. But Gilman kind of gets into... It's funny, he's very robotic talking about Vegas, and then Craig goes, so, the 2011 Canucks who lost, and he's like, ah! And Gilman's emotions kind of come
comes out.
And he talks about...
Because Gilman was involved with Vegas in some way. How was he involved? Just give me the
So
quick...
that was a little confusing. So it sounded like he sort of worked with the league in coming up with some of the rules, and then he also made presentations to George McPhee. So I don't know if he worked for the league and then the Golden Knights, or if he was like a third party sort of thing where they came up with the draft rules. And people were talking about how the expansion draft rules were too in Vegas's favor. Originally, they were even worse. They were even more harsh. And what he says is, with the original rules we had, like a lot of teams just weren't going to be able to get it done at all. Like 2 teams were going to be too compromised. But what I love about Gilman, and like right away, like first 2 minutes of him talking, he goes, "This wasn't an expansion draft per se. I'm not saying this verbatim, but it wasn't an expansion draft per se as much as it was an asset harvest."
Oh, good wording. Ooh,
Do I
like that.
want a guy running my team who words things like that? Harvest those assets, Lawrence. You're a Leafs management person.
He is a manager.
Yeah. Lawrence Gilman, Leafs manager. It's got me excited. It got me very excited. I listened to it yesterday. I listened to it again on the way here. Very excited to have that mind with the Leafs. Because when I first hear he used to be in management with the Canucks, I go, not good. They kind of suck. And then, oh, wait, no, he helped
build
them
Stanley Cup
when they were
run.
really good. Back-to-back President's Trophy winners, I think. Oh, okay. And almost won the Stanley Cup. All right. I'm intrigued. Now you throw in Vegas? Like, it's funny. Vegas has not been around long enough for anyone to steal things from them yet. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The Leafs kind of started building this a few years ago, and now teams are kind of coming in and taking parts of it. Wait for Sheldon Keefe to be next. Vegas hasn't had anyone stolen from them. And not that Gilman was. Like, if they win, I don't think he gets a ring or anything. But anyone who helped George McPhee build that team, yeah, I wouldn't mind having him in my
Tom
corner.
Parashka might be moving on up in the world.
Can you imagine they hire him?
General manager.
Yoink!
Well, I could see it. Although, does he want to leave Vegas? I mean, like, it's pretty sweet down there.
He's gone dark.
Oh, yeah, of course he
By
has.
the way, Tom, like we would text every now and then throughout the season, like just, how are you? Whatever. But now after every round that Vegas wins, I just text him, holy shit. And he hasn't responded in 3 rounds.
I can't say I blame him.
It's going to be all caps if they do the thing.
Actually, it'll be all Vegas.
I'm glad we were on the same wavelength, my friend. That was good.
So with that in mind, I think the next question people have is, okay, their only other senior advisor is Cliff. I won't fucking retire Fletcher.
Ever.
And you know what? I'm okay with it. But
Yeah,
you gotta have a couple guys around, right? And it's good to have a guy that's been with the Leafs forever because that's important. I think it's good to have another senior guy who's not been with the Leafs and has a different perspective as well. So Ron Francis was a guy who came up, Sioux connection, that sort of thing. But according to Elliot Friedman, he wants a year off. And a lot of people are speculating, well, in Seattle.
Hey, that could be interesting. That could be super interesting.
Do you think that they bring someone else in?
I do.
Or do you think they're already searching for Sheldon Keefe's head coaching vacancy because that's going to happen?
They're going to hire Sheldon Keefe as a manager. He's going to be assistant to the GM. He's going to be the new guy. That's going to be it.
Don't think so.
No, me neither. I think they're going to bring in someone new. My thing with Cliff Fletcher, I have a couple qualms. So one thing with Cliff Fletcher is he's been with the Leafs so long. Does anyone working there not know what he thinks about everything? You have to by now. He's been there too long. Uh-huh. He's got to like a certain kind of player.
Guys, when I made the Gilmore trade.
Or who knows? Maybe he's just got gem after gem.
I bet he does,
don't know.
man. I bet he
must. He must. Why is he still there? There has to be a good reason.
Do you think Brendan Shanahan would keep anybody around that did not add value? With the way he's
Honestly,
operated
no.
his team? No. So Cliff Fletcher obviously has something valuable to offer.
He just let Lou Lamoriello walk without blinking. Like, he's ice cold. So it's good that he's there. The one thing I worry about with this management group, I like all of them. I'm really happy that they're all employed by the Leafs now. But they're kind of advertised as like-minded guys. I want them to all be on the same page, but I don't want them just all agreeing with each other all the time.
So I know that Pritam and Dubas get along, but are they like-minded?
I don't know. This is the problem. Dude,
we don't know that.
How would you ever know that? We've never sat down and had a conversation with these two guys.
I don't even know what Brandon Prittam's face really looks like. I got to be honest. I've seen a couple pictures recently. I couldn't tell you what his voice sounds like.
Lawrence Gilman, but younger.
Okay, Lawrence Gilman. What do we know about his perspective, really? Other than that Full 60 podcast, which, by the way, you should download.
Not really sure. Well, he talks about the sort of not Brandon Prittam, sorry. I was just looking at Jesse's computer. He's talking about the Roberto Luongo saga.
Right.
And how he was eventually traded and all that stuff, and that was very interesting. Yes, Jesse just showed a picture of Brandon Prittam. Are you shocked at him? Are you surprised? Are you glad? Are you sad? How do you feel?
I'm surprised that he's not wearing glasses and at a computer in that picture.
You know what,
because he's a stats geek.
But he's
got his charts.
2 shades of blue.
Whoa. Like most hockey people.
Yes.
He's all business.
He's wearing Kyle Dubas's outfit from when he was named GM, I think.
I don't think that's entirely true.
They just recycle.
Look it up.
Lou Lamoriello's like, I'm Depression era, baby. We're going to recycle all of our shoots.
Just Photoshop his head on.
That would be amazing.
That is the same outfit. Light blue shirt, blue tie.
They're wearing blue shirts and the same suit because I assume all their suits are made together.
It is almost an identical shirt.
It is.
And a slightly different tie. Jesse, how dare you?
I think Andreas
Just let me
Jansson's
be
having
right.
a good night, by the way.
Sorry?
I think Andreas Jansson's having a pretty good night tonight.
Why? What are we at?
He's just insane.
Adam. Oh.
Let's go. Go back. Whoa, you got to throw this up, man. Can you throw this up on the video?
No, it's not that serious.
It's super serious.
It's pretty serious. People need to partake in this, Jesse.
You know what?
They're just wearing the same suit and a blue shirt and different ties. They're people wearing
They saved the
suits.
Leafs some serious money. See, Brandon Prittam, capologist, saved them some money. Right? I mean, can you disagree? I don't think you can.
Adam,
History dictates that no.
can you give the Marley score? Because I have a thing I'd like to say.
Okay. Let me.
I thought you were just looking at it.
I was looking at Andreas Janssen stuff, man.
You
But
stink.
you stink.
You're bad at this. You're fired. You're banned. 5th person.
5 people, Mount Rushmore.
You're standing below Mount Rushmore.
It's 1-1.
One. Okay.
That can sit on Sasky's head.
I don't think she'd appreciate that.
First of all, that would crush Sasky's head. Have you seen his bottom?
No, it'd be like, you know how Drake's sitting on the CN Tower on the cover of Views? It'd be like Adam sitting there on Sasky, and it's like he's also
Oh,
banned.
I get it. I get you.
Yes.
Would that be Stu's? Because Stewart
No.
views.
No. Anyway,
I tried.
moving on.
I tried. I got a DM.
From?
It's a guy named.
Who slid in?
It's always a guy with Steve, by the way. You should know that.
It was.
mostly a guy.
By the way, first of all, someone slid into my DMs with boobs.
What? Where did this podcast go off the rails?
Are you saying somebody shot you a naked picture?
Someone by the name of Dominic Gallimini Jr.
Send you a picture of his boobs.
No, your favorite.
Oh, a chart.
At Mimico Hero, the creator of the famous boob chart, sent me.
I was like, someone actually sent you a naked picture?
No,
That's Adam. How dare you?
Well, I mean, that's not normally something that happens to hockey analysts, I don't think.
Dude, literally, by the way, okay, true story. Literally, my first night on Snapchat, I was like, oh, this will be a new way to talk to people. That's kind of cool. Oh, let's see what this guy has to say. And it was a picture of something very unfortunate. I didn't appreciate it at all.
Was it his penis?
It was, no, it was just the top part.
Ah.
Yeah. He didn't have the courage to do the whole thing.
So which is the top part? Is it the front?
No.
Or is it the top?
No, we are not. So what is this handy chart that
So
you want to
Dominic Gallimini Jr., Mimico Hero, sent me the boob chart.
Okay.
And it's a boob chart
Did he explain
comparing.
it to us?
Yes, he did.
No. Let us know how this makes no sense to anyone outside of 5 people.
Okay, no, so I actually understand it now.
Oh, yeah?
And you're going to have to show this in the YouTube version. And you're also going to have to be willing to understand it.
Okay.
I love things that take so much strength just to understand.
It doesn't! It takes strength to talk over you, Jesse. I never interrupt anyone.
No. Let us.
I don't interrupt, nor have I ever interrupted.
Let us take this 4-week course in this calculus class.
4 year.
Banned!
Just to understand.
More like Jesse banned!
Is he canceled?
And canceled! And we're having a Jesse Blake is over party!
No one would go to that. They'd be at Jesse's party.
Yeah.
Maybe then I'll have the time to understand one chart.
Wow. Jesse is just going hard at this. All right. What did he say?
So he said about 2,000 words into a write-up explaining how these are made, these being the boob charts, and how to read them. Just wondering if these axis labels make a little more sense to you. So what were they last time? I don't remember.
Man, dude, how would I remember that?
So it was scoring rate per 60 on the bottom, and on the top now it's relative likelihood. Now, it's going to be really hard without just showing you.
Well, that sounds like it makes a little more sense, yeah.
So basically, what I learned from the chart he sent me, I'm going to have to send you so you can put it in the YouTube version. So he sent me a Kyle Turris boob, and he sent me a Matt Duchene boob. What I learned from the boob, yes, is Matt Duchene per 60 is more likely to outscore Kyle Turris per 60. But there is quite a bit of overlap. So if Kyle Turris outscores Matt Duchene, it's not weird. It's just not the most likely outcome. The most likely outcome is that Matt Duchene will outscore Kyle Turris.
Yeah, but he's playing for Pierre. No, who's the...
I forget.
Gauthier? No, who's the...
What are you talking
Who is
about?
the coach of the Senators?
Why have I blanked on
Why
his
am
name?
I blanking on his name?
It's because you're making me think of it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to tell you guys who the head coach is.
Guy Boucher.
Ah, damn it.
Why did I say Pierre?
That was the weirdest thing that just happened.
Yo, that was strange.
That hurt my head.
I was like, Melnick.
Man,
and
how
then-
are we supposed to understand boob charts if we can't even remember? We can't even remember Guy Boucher's name. Anyway, he explained it to me, and when he posts his apparently over 2,000 word explanation of these charts, I will be the first to read it.
I will read it too. I actually genuinely want to know. And it doesn't, when you say it in words, it makes more sense to me. I think when it's a weird thing. If you're not good with numbers, or if you are good with numbers, you won't understand this. But if you're not, you'll get me. There is a way of looking at charts that just makes you feel like you're staring into the sun. You have no idea what you're looking at. But if someone actually verbalizes it and explains it, it's like, whoa, okay, I can get with that. I sort of get that.
I just want to be living proof that you should never be ashamed to be dumb. Because we made change there. We said we're too dumb for this, and he dumbed it down.
My only thing is that I hope he didn't take it personally, because it's not. Okay,
no, and
good.
I was like, by the way, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, I'm flattered you talked about me for 6 minutes.
Well, I hope he is.
No, but okay.
Because we genuinely did want to know.
So this isn't the first time this has happened. So there were things on General Fanager when that was still around, but there have been many things on Cap Friendly where I've actually talked to Cap Friendly and been like, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. And he's changed it. He's changed the website.
That's cool. Well, it helps, right?
I spend so much time on Cap Friendly that I was like, can you explain this? And he goes, okay. And he does. Can you explain that then? Takes a little bit of time and explains it. Okay, well, what about this number? Huh. Well, that's wrong.
Well, that's interesting.
So I go so deep that I actually find like little mistakes, and
You're like an associate editor.
Associate editor by way of stupidity.
Next subject here. I just wanted to quickly hit on this before I read you a DM that I got.
Is it boobs?
Can I be the only one? Am I the only one who thinks that we maybe need to chill on the Nikita Zaitsev trade talks? As in, let's boot him out of town for nothing. That's basically what they're hoping for. Or there is a subsection of Leafs Twitter that seems to be like that, and I'm trying to wrap my head around whether or not they saw him in the first season he was in Toronto.
Well, and also you gotta give other teams around the league some credit that they're not gonna be like, the Leafs are trying to dump this guy after 1 year of a 7-year deal. Maybe we're not getting the best player. Maybe these guys are dealing from a position of weakness. I still think the best outcome with Zaitsev is he becomes better with the team.
Well, and let's not forget concussion, baby, and pretty brutal flu over the course of the season.
You know, I mean, it took a chunk out of Hainsey.
Yeah.
Hainsey did not look the same after that.
Nope, he didn't.
And he was used. They were both used in brutal rules. They should. I agree with you that they should maybe reduce their roles. But, I mean, getting rid of him for a bag of pucks, I'm not sure I agree with.
And does it mean anything to you that Mike Babcock clearly believes in him?
Mike Babcock really likes him, and that's encouraging to me, and he had a good world championship. Maybe it's his deployment. And maybe deployment's going to change.
I think it would have to. I think they're going to make some changes. Do you think this is going to be, I'm not saying big moves, but do you think there will be a lot of little moves or a lot of moves in general for the Leafs this summer?
Man, I'm excited. I have no idea. I think it might be a lot of little moves. Might be one or two huge ones.
They don't seem like a huge move team beyond Tavares.
Boy, I don't know about that. I just don't know about that. It's going to be interesting with Gilman coming on board because Dubas and Pritam kind of helped build this thing and might be a little bit more protective of it. Or they might be chomping at the bit to finally make some moves that they wanted to make the whole time. But for me, like I've said it before, I'll say it again. Everyone keeps bringing up Connor Brown and Kasperi Kapanen in trade talks, and I'm like, no,
those are both of our penalty killers.
No, mine. I like those guys. I mean, you can find penalty killers, but no, these are mine. I like these ones. Yeah. And like, I think it was Heart of Lad made a good point on Twitter the other day because they're like, who's most likely to make the team next year? And it was like, Carl Grundstrom, Trevor Moore, I don't remember. And I think Carl Grundstrom won. But based on what? I think he's playing right wing with the Marlies.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs are on the verge of spending more on their right wing than like any other position or any other team in the league. Because in 2 years' time, you'll have, hopefully, Nylander locked up, Marner locked up, Brown is already locked up, and Kapanen locked up. Where's Grundstrom go?
Well, he can play the left.
Can Nylander
maybe,
just
hopefully.
be our center?
Yeah, that would be so much nicer.
I think that solves a lot of problems. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it gives you the opportunity to because they do have significant cap space this summer. Gives you the opportunity because you have the depth on the wing to put a guy like Grundstrom, shelter his minutes and let him grow. And Kapanen on the fourth line or the third line right wing. Kapanen's wasted to me on the fourth line. He's a third line plus guy, but because you've got Marner, Nylander, and was it Brown? No, who did you name? Marner, Nylander.
Oh yes. Sorry, I thought you were saying a line.
Moves to center. No. Like I would love to see what Kapanen can do with Matthews. I would love to see what he can do with Nylander. I would love to see what Marner
flirted
and Matthews.
With it.
Totally.
He flirted with it. He put Kapanen with Matthews a couple times, and I liked Kapanen with JVR and Boza.
And it could he be? And again, I don't want to dump on Zach Hyman because he's been so good. But is Kapanen the faster version of him? Could he be? I mean, Zach Hyman's a freaking master at getting the puck out of the thing, but he's not. He doesn't have that offensive flair.
Could be. And Kapanen's got more snarl than I think he's given credit for. But anyway,
Nikita
Basically,
Zaitsev.
yeah, Nikita Zaitsev. I don't know how we
Maybe
got
just
how we got there.
Well, we're just talking about we're just throwing stuff around, but I think Nikita Zaitsev maybe we need to chill on the trade talk because A, you're not going to get anything for him. B, he was a good player his first year. Was he a great player? No. Did he deserve the contract? I thought at the time I was like, I don't hate it.
Adam, what percent of first-year Nikita Zaitsev do the Leafs need to get next season?
Between 75 and 90.
Yeah?
That's truly what they need.
80%'s in there.
80%'s in there. 85 is as well. So is 82 and a half.
I like that that's becoming a meme. You're like, what? Did I say that? And yes. Yeah, every episode. Every episode.
I want to quickly read something out from the official English Ice Hockey Twitter account, which
we haven't even... Did we bring that up?
Well, I don't know. I'm just going to read out what they wrote to me.
No, yeah,
so they have
go
a
ahead.
Craig Simpson over there. It's not Craig Simpson from Canada. It's Craig Simpson from England, and he's like,
The
"Hey,
different
Adam."
guy.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, Adam, this Craig Simpson checking in," and he just because it's the actual official English ice hockey account. Team Canada doesn't follow me. Team England does.
There you go.
I just want to say I'm very, very proud of that. This weekend, while the Memorial Cup is on here in England, we have our big junior tournament. It's called the Conference Tournament, and it has teams at U11, U13, U15, and U17 from 5 regions. Players represent Scotland, North England, Midlands, Southeast, and Southwest. There are 44 games in 3 days.
Wow.
The finals are on Monday afternoon. We have England versus Scotland under-19 international game on Friday to kick off the weekend, so that's right now. That's probably actually already happened.
Are skiing dues allowed? I don't know. Scottish jokes.
There's over 400 players from all over the UK in one of the biggest junior tournaments of its kind. This will be our 24th year. Not to mention on this week's a mention on this week's pod would be great. Finn Braden, who you mentioned in April, is playing in the North under 13, and thank you. Because I heard from Finn Braden's father. That was the guy I mentioned.
That's right. That's who that was.
So that's pretty cool.
Did
What
we
else did you want to talk about?
mention that Team Great Britain is going to be in the World Hockey Championship next year?
Yeah, how cool is that?
That's unbelievable. All in dramatic fashion, too. Because
Who was it against? It was...
I don't remember the team it was against, but they basically needed to win. They needed at least a tie. And I think they were losing with like 10 seconds left in the game or something. They tie it.
And then they win it. Amazing.
When is the next World Cup of Hockey?
No announcement on that yet, interestingly.
I don't know. I think it might just be a one and done. We've waved our flag.
Yeah, we tried. I wonder with that
They
because
Snapchatted the Olympics.
do you think that the NHL would have viewed that as a success?
Yeah.
Those 2 weeks in Toronto?
Yeah, because I don't.
People made money.
Did they
Yeah.
sell? Did they sell well? Because I
Yeah.
remember specifically.
The Canada game sold well.
Yeah.
Right.
They made money for sure. It was a big deal in the city. I think they would view it as a success. The hockey wasn't great because Canada dominated, and even in the championship game where they got that really close game, it was like, okay, Canada could still lose this and come back and win the next one. So
Yeah.
And it's also not a real championship tournament, right?
yeah.
It's really like.
So I think they were disappointed in the on-ice product, but it was compelling.
That whole thing where like everyone threw their gloves off onto the ice, like in celebration. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, calm
You
down.
didn't win anything.
I mean,
I think the best part about
but
that tournament was Austin Matthews and Connor McDavid on the same line.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
that was awesome.
And some of Europe making it all the way to the finals.
Who could forget?
Some
Some of Europe.
Was defeated by Canada for the World Cup of
But
Hockey.
first, they conquered Team Sweden. Team Sweden is still stinging from their defeat at the hands
But
of Team Some of Europe.
Isn't Sweden in Europe?
No.
How could they not be on Team Europe if they're
No.
Team Europe?
No, they're Team Sweden, Jesse.
But
that's
they
why-
are in Europe.
No, but they're Sweden. So
But then what is Team Europe?
we're excluding other
The
countries.
winners.
That's right. Almost.
And that's why Team Sweden's win at the World Hockey Championship was so sweet. So sweet, even. Because
You could
they
say it's
overcame their embarrassing defeat at the hands of Team Some of Europe.
How did some of Europe do at the Olympics this year?
You know? Pretty good. Technically,
Undefeated.
they made the gold medal game.
No, they were undefeated.
That's true. Was it Belarus? Who was it?
Oh, yeah, that's true. They went without a defeat.
Was it Czech Republic?
Germany.
Germany,
Against
right.
Russia. You didn't even remember.
Oh, God.
The gold medal game at the
The
Olympics.
Czechs got their own team in the
Russia
NHL tournament, right?
won the damn
Yes.
Olympics.
Yeah, Russia won the damn Olympics, eh? Who knows? Who
On
knew?
a power play in overtime.
That's
Hey, man, the
bullshit.
fact that you know, I didn't watch a game.
You know what? It
wow,
was
there was
actually a
some
really
good
good gold
hockey.
medal game.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was. I just there was other stuff happening.
Yeah.
If I'm going to watch, if it's the not NHLers or I have a chance to watch the Leafs, I'm watching the Leafs all day, every day.
Speaking of things I'm having a difficult time getting into, have Tim and Sid covered the Memorial Cup very much?
We did today for the first time, actually.
How'd that go?
It was good.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Yeah, we mainly talked about how the format isn't the greatest. Like we didn't talk about the on ice product at all. We talked
Did
about
you make your TV debut?
No.
Oh, you should have, Jason.
No, I don't do that. I'm behind the scenes.
No, they need to use you on
No.
TV.
Anyways.
They should.
So yeah, I shouldn't say we. They talked about how the host team for the second year in a row got eliminated in the first round and is now looks like they're the favorites to win the championship. And that's kind of
Isn't the host team Regina?
Yes. So they were eliminated in the first round.
Aren't they having trouble selling tickets too?
No, the last game was sold out.
Was
the
it?
one where
I had
Regina
heard.
played, but
Well, so I tuned into a game. I don't even remember who Regina was playing, but I remember being like, wow, there was nobody at this game between Regina and whoever. Man, where is the tournament this year? Oh, dear. I saw it was in Regina, which surprised me. It shocked me because the World Juniors I was at was rabid.
yeah, we were talking about that because there's what else is there in Regina to do? Yeah.
So, but I guess, I don't know, maybe my experience was skewed because I didn't go to any of the games in Regina. I only went to the games in Saskatoon. But I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's nothing to do, and everyone's at the nothing. If there's anything to do, they're there. And it just shocked me that there was a single empty seat in the building, let alone pretty much the entire Platinum section.
No, last game it sold well. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but last game was all right.
Like people are done with round robin games, like they weren't interested. Maybe I watched an unimportant game.
Maybe.
I wouldn't know. Can't get into this tournament. I couldn't even tell you who the 4 teams are.
Interesting.
Regina, a Quebec one,
An OHL one.
an OHL one. Oh, Hamilton.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hamilton is. They are the favorites.
I'd like to correct something from earlier on in the show.
Oh,
I'd like to
Tom
read
Wilson
directly.
is actually good.
No, it wasn't that. It was about who wrote the piece on how the draft strategy has changed for the Leafs, and it was in fact James Myrtle, and and the player's name is Ryan Mcleod. So this is what James wrote. Mcleod, you see, is a safe, low-ceiling type, somebody who probably tops out as a second-line center if all things go well. He's also one of the oldest first-year eligibles in the draft with a late September birth date, and this was his first season with big points in junior, which always happens when you get to be an overager. Or at least sometimes happens.
Sometimes.
Doesn't necessarily mean that they're good. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're not. There's also a rumor out there that Dubas wanted DeBrincat in 2016, and they didn't get him.
That kills me.
They got Korshkov instead.
In 2016?
I think so. I think that's what it was.
Just kills me. Grunstrom was good. Update in the Marlies game, because I know you're all dying to hear it. Andreas Janssen scored again.
Yeah, I just read a tweet from somebody saying he is literally like going to be a star in the NHL. Forget the AHL.
Altonen and Grunstrom collect the assists. Man, so people are sort of joking about just make the fourth line next year Janssen, Altonen, and Grunstrom. I'm on board with it. I'm okay with it. After just saying how I couldn't possibly trade someone. Leafs got some interesting decisions to make, but they're all good ones.
Lastly, Leo Vegas. We want you to sign up as soon as possible. Registration ends soon. And we want you to be able to take passes from Matt Sundin and hit people with Ty Domi and make a crisp first pass for a secondary assist with Thomas Kaberle.
There it is. We want you to have a wide open net and pass it. We want you to have an open lane at the point and pass it to the other point. We want you to win the shooting accuracy competition at the All-Star game, and then in your post-game interview, talk about how you're not going to shoot more. That drove me nuts.
Yeah, he's a brilliant shooter.
Can't wait to talk to him.
Or, we want you to play terrible defense, but have Curtis Joseph bail you out. That's what we want.
Hey, there you go. Hey, there's a realistic goal.
So, LeoVegas.net to sign up. As we said, We're flying you in, and if you're already here, you get a voucher. We're going to take you from the airport. We're going to get you set up at the Delta. You're going to hang out with all the NHL alumni for a lunch and a dinner and stuff on the Friday. You're going to do a Hall of Fame tour with Healy and Matt Sundin. You're going to play hockey with these guys, and you're going to get a Matt Sundin signed commemorative photo. Like, this is one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. LeoVegas.net if you want to sign up, and we will all be there too.
Just as excited.
We could sign shots too if you'd like. They will not be considered commemorative because nobody cares.
No one will care. Again, man, like you start ticking off all the things you would like to do in your career, and one of them was definitely meet Matt Sundin, but I never pegged it as realistic.
And we're gonna have an interview with him, an exclusive interview.
Honestly, was like if I ever meet Matt Sundin, I might have to go to Sweden to do it.
Well, yeah, I'm really. I would love to know the conversation that occurred, and I don't know if we can ask him this during the interview, but I would love to know how they got a hold of him and how they convinced him to do it, because he's a very quiet guy.
Leo Vegas?
Yeah, like I would love to know how that conversation went. Anyway,
I'd love to know a lot of things.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Hey, so LeoVegas.net, sign up for that. Let's do the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
I'd love to leave the play for a little bit.
It's relaxing. Yes, Jesse?
Somebody posted a picture of you,
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
and they said Steve Dangle or Philip DeFranco. I didn't get it.
I'm not massaging my neck. I think it's because my thumbnails are Philip DeFranco-esque, they're saying. But that's not true. I don't have like two different people's heads beside my head. Or just my head when it's really serious. Or just my head and one other head when there's only one topic or it's a special video. But yeah, I'm not massaging my neck, which is weird because my neck hurts. I should be the one massaging my neck, not Philip DeFranco.
I'm going to read the most upvoted question of our press conference thread on Reddit this week, even though I'll hold off my take on it. But the H Whip asks, on December 9th, 2014, on an episode called Steveativity, you guys call out the CFL for lacking credibility because an expansion team from Baltimore won the Grey Cup during their first 2 years. What's different with Vegas? I'm pro Vegas champs, BT Dubs.
Well, you see, Baltimore won the Grey Cup as an expansion team in I think a 9-team league, whereas Vegas could win the Stanley Cup in a 31-team league, which is far more humiliating for that league. Exponentially so.
Well, could it be that they expanded it to Baltimore won, and then like folded the next season? Like, isn't it like...
If Vegas folds, it's bad.
Yeah, if Vegas folds, then it looks bad.
Yeah.
Could it be that the CFL is less credible than the NHL?
No, the NHL is less credible than the CFL. He got me there. He did. Adam's trying to talk his way around it. And what about this? What about that? I would like to just flag on the play. I'm wrong. I was wrong. I shouldn't have talked about the CFL in that way, sir or madam. But it is a silly league.
I will agree. I was also wrong.
All right.
I now disagree with 2014 Adam Wild on many things, to be honest with you.
Oh, my God.
A lot has happened the last 4 years. So I was 26 years old.
I want to fight myself on like a 6-month by 6-month basis. Not even like several years. Like I look at myself from 6 months ago and I'm like, you're an idiot. Yeah. I want to fight my yesterday self. My swagger's been off lately.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, I think your back's been off.
Maybe that's it.
That'll throw you out of turn. Like, it'll just throw you. It'll make you feel weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jesse, next question.
Oh, what was your take on it?
Oh, the CFL's a funny league, and I don't really care about it.
Oh, okay. Well,
at least he owns that. I mean, my position remains the same. I'm not I don't go to Argos games, right? It's not because I hate the CFL. I love the NFL. I hate what the NFL stands for, but I do love the football. It's like liking FIFA. I hate what FIFA stands for, or hated what they used to stand for. Love the product anyway.
Hey, look, I have a friend who's a hardcore Argos fan, and I don't really care. And you know who's the luckier out of the two of us? My friend. He finds joy in a thing that I can't.
Fair.
Good for him.
It's like me with TFC. I know you guys aren't crazy about it. I love it.
Good for you.
MK Daman 1818 because apparently there was too many MK demands.
There was 1817 before.
Yes, so 1818
The
MK
sixth
demand.
anniversary of the War of 1812. Sorry.
Is Steve Dangle aware that when he yells, he sounds exactly like Charlie from It's Always Sunny?
Hey, no one said that before.
That actually
That's
is
so
true,
crazy.
though.
I've never seen
I've never seen it either.
It's Always Sunny. My mic just
I've
fell.
seen it, and I don't.
Do you agree with that assessment?
I've heard it 1,000 times, so it must be true. Also, my voice sounds different coming out of my head than it probably sounds actually like in the world. But okay. Here's the similarity between my scream and Charlie Day's scream: is they're both 100%. Most people, like, who really screams like in movies or on TV, and it's 100%. Charlie Day, Leonardo DiCaprio, end of list.
Yeah.
And they're different screams. Most of them are anger screams, whereas like Charlie Day is just like overexcited exasperation.
Yeah, he's got a it's almost like an excited, terrified, panic-stricken,
Trying to get his
but
point
happy.
across.
Yes.
Have you seen It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, I have. I believe I've said it on the show before that I didn't really like it, and that really made people mad. So
I think it's terrible.
but that's not the first time I've not liked something.
I've watched a few episodes and I liked it.
I think it's one of the most unfunny shows on television.
Wow.
If I could throw it in a bin with Big Bang Theory and Little Sheldon, it would probably sit there happily.
Young Sheldon.
Band?
Sir.
Oh my God. I'm sorry that I got the name of that great show incorrect.
Wow.
Let me apologize to all of those young Sheldon fans out there who got offended that I called it Little Sheldon.
But now Sheldon's getting married on Big Bang Theory, so we should care.
Is he?
Yeah, I think Malin Bialik's
To
character.
whomst?
Malin
Sorry.
Bialik's character. I don't know what her name is. on
I
the
don't
show.
know who that
Kaylee
actress is.
Kyoko?
No.
No.
Cuoco. Why is she on the cover of absolutely everything?
got a
Circle
good-
K and like all those convenience stores.
agent.
all
She's a
those-
good agent.
Oh
That's
my
why.
God. All those convenience stores should just be called Kaylee Cuoco.
You know how much those guys make, eh?
Oh, the
It's
bajillions.
25 plus million a season.
More than each one of them makes more money than every CFL team combined.
That's a fact.
I mean, probably.
it is literally a fact.
Big Bang Theory a bigger industry than the CFL?
The show
my God.
itself? Yes, 100%.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
wild to think, eh? Isn't that weird? The CFL's cap is like 2.5 million.
Dude, the guy who always looks
Crazy.
confused with glasses on that show, whose name I don't even know, the dark-haired guy.
The guy who dated Kaylee Cuoco.
He dated Kaylee Cuoco in the show.
Kaylee
in
Cocoa
passing,
Butter.
Johnny
saw
Galecki?
him carry laundry
I don't know
once.
what his name
The actor's
is.
name's
You could
Johnny Galecki.
literally have said
How do you know
anything.
that?
I kind of have to
He
know
has,
that.
he has a job on a morning
know all the-
television
yeah.
show.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I couldn't
that you
name
know
them
his
all,
name.
but I know it's Johnny Galecki.
What's Sheldon's real name?
It's slipping my mind right now.
Bert-
Like Boucher. Bert Bacharach. No, I have
See,
no
you
idea.
can say that, and I think you're right.
No, I'm
'cause
not.
I don't know.
I'm not. Oh my God.
His name is Bert Tripod. That's his name.
Bert Tripod.
Bert Tripod.
Okay.
Before I get
Screen
angry, mad
jerk.
people yelling at me here, let me just pull it up. Believe it or not, on IMDb, that series, by the way, this series has been out since 2007.
That's
2007, the year after we graduated from high school.
That's when I started making YouTube videos.
Wow. Who will last longer? And it's Jim Parsons.
Ah.
Good.
Is he the one who's a huge Eugenie Bouchard fan?
Yes. And she's a huge fan of him.
What? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Jeannie is a huge
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Bang Theory fan.
Oh dear. Well, that's a shame. You ever like someone less instantly? No, she's still pretty wonderful. Do
Listen, I feel like
you ever go, I wish I didn't know that?
I understand.
it's okay, Steve.
Wish I
I
didn't know
understand the cult of turning something on and completely turning off your brain. Like, I understand.
Yeah, South Park.
Sure.
Family Guy.
Sure. But Big Bang Theory, it's some other level of my mind is off.
What was the Lyle McDouchebag quote? He just like who? Remember the Lyle McDouchebag? He's a YouTuber, and he basically had this quote, and I think you sent it, and it's a viral video, and he stops the clip, and he's like, "What are they laughing at? There's not even a joke."
Yeah.
He's just naming a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of true.
When you watch it without a laugh track,
That
you
video.
really get the sense of how nothing is going on in this show. And it makes me upset because of how lazy it is.
Wow.
Millions of dollars are being poured into this thing that I feel like nobody is putting any effort into.
It is, listen, there are some jokes where you go, ha, 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 ha. But it is probably at best like the 47th most funny show on television, like just on cable television. Like,
Sure.
I don't understand why it's the smash hit that it is and not a show that got like, 3 seasons.
No, but there's so many people out there who want to turn off their brain and just watch this, and I get that.
Oh my God.
That's cool.
But there's 1,000 shows you can do that with.
Exactly. And I don't know why this one hit just nailed and is the biggest thing in the world. I don't know.
So, the guy that is behind the start of this show,
The start of the show.
the guy who created
Chuck
it.
Lorre?
Chuck Lorre.
Yeah, but he's a genius.
He is a
I
genius.
respect him immensely.
What other shows is he responsible for?
Every big comedy that has a laugh track ever is his doing.
Two and a
That
Half
has a
Men.
laugh
Yes.
Dharma and Greg.
Oh.
Roseanne.
Oh.
Mike and Molly.
I don't even remember. Oh, that one.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Grace Under Fire, which I remember.
I don't even
but I never
remember that.
really watched it. Yeah, and then there was like a bunch of stuff through the 80s that he did, but he really
No, he's very good at his job.
he's very, very good. There's
But
no question.
The products he churns out are...
Not for you. He's also responsible,
for me.
obviously, for Young Sheldon. But yeah, it's not for you. It's not for you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't
And
really
listen,
understand it.
if you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory, whatever.
Tweet
man.
us. Let us know.
Oh, they'll let us know.
Let us know.
I remember the first time I said that on the air I was doing a morning show in Calgary, and I'm like, this show is garbage. How do people watch it? Because we were going through like the ratings of the biggest shows or whatever.
That's how long the show's been on the air.
Oh, yeah.
You were in Calgary talking
Dude,
about it.
I wasn't even on the air on the radio when that show started. Or just after, anyway.
I was in high school.
Yeah, you were. And I was in my first year of dropping out. To be followed by my second year of dropping out. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, I remember saying that, and I got lit up on Twitter for that. Like back in like 2011.
But see, this goes against like everything Jesse just said that I totally agree with. It's just a show where you shut your brain off, but then to be a fan of it means you're paying attention and loving it. And then
Invested.
for Adam to say, "Don't talk about Big Bang Theory that way."
Yeah.
That's my show.
That's Tom Wilson.
I love all of Sheldon's jokes. And what's his dude? The usual
Johnny Galecki.
Johnny Galecki's mentions of cultural references.
And Kaylee Cocoa Butter.
Kelly Cuoco, when she got a haircut,
And she was
it
on.
was the craziest thing I've
Oh,
ever
remember
seen.
that? Didn't she get pregnant and had to leave? Did that make that up?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, no. She didn't have a baby recently?
I don't think
Maybe
so.
I think of a different actress.
I think it's a different actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did. When she got that haircut, she was on the front of every magazine.
And that one who talks like this?
Funniest actress in Hollywood. How dare you, Adam Wilde? How dare you? No, I don't know. Whatever, man. Whatever.
Nah, any other questions?
I'm not going to read that.
Hey, look, it's Kaylee Cuoco.
No high.
Can't wait to
questions.
walk
No
outside
high
and see a
questions.
magazine
We've
with
done too
Kaylee
many high
Cuoco on
questions.
it.
The people love them, Adam.
I know, except for the emails that I get from people who do not.
Anybody who sends an email isn't fun, okay?
Wow.
Anybody who reaches out via email isn't fun. If you were fun, you'd be reaching out on a different medium, like commenting on our YouTube channel.
You'd
Yeah.
be calling me like two of
You'd
the
be hate tweeting
scammers
us.
who
You'd
called me
be
today.
hate tweeting us. Then I would respect your terrible opinion. I don't know.
I think we got to keep doing the show until the Marlies game's done. There's under 3 minutes to go in the third.
I think
One
everybody-
more question, then let's hear it.
Come on.
Do you want a
Like we
hockey
can't
question?
scream about Big Bang Theory for any more time. Come on.
I have to pull back up the press conference page.
We're just giving people more hashtag content. Think about doing some content.
I'm excited to see the Mount Rushmore of band from the show.
Oh, I love it. Mount Rushmore of band.
Here's the challenge, though. If you're good at Photoshop, can you make it look like, rather than just Photoshopping their heads, can you make their heads look like stone? Like the real Mount Rushmore?
Don't just,
I have a good question. This is from Barrows with an A, B-O-Y. Barrows boy. Who is the villain in the Stanley Cup final? The Knights trying to stop Ovi from getting his first cup, or the Caps trying to prevent the Knights' historic run?
Tom Wilson. I don't even think so.
The underdog is clearly Vegas. It depends. This is the great thing about the Stanley Cup Final. It is whatever your imagination wants it to be.
Because Vegas has been the better team this playoff, so how are they the underdog?
Yeah, pretty hard to call them
and they
an
wear
underdog.
dark, scary colors, and they got a scary logo.
And they have a night that comes out before the game.
George McPhee is out for revenge. And like
that's another thing.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
George McPhee he built both of these teams.
he and Nate Schmidt like have that, every bad guy was spurned at some point, and they're taking it out on the world. No one believed in us. No one thought the Golden Knights would be here, and look at me now! Ha 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 ha! That's how they're an evil villain in this case. But then you got the Washington Capitals. They got Alex Ovechkin, who some people don't like for some reason.
He's Russian.
He's Russian.
I think it's his place of birth. I literally think that's it.
Yeah, Moscow
Supports
or
Vladimir
something.
Putin.
In that one as well that we
Yeah,
talked about
because his
before.
family lives over there and he
Yeah.
wants to probably protect them.
Yeah, we dedicated a lot of time to that time.
We're
But
forgetting.
also,
Washington also has Tom Wilson,
they have
who murders
Tom
puppies.
Wilson.
Apparently. According to Adam, Tom Wilson murders
What
puppies.
will offend
Wow.
Tom Wilson in this series, I think, is the better question. I asked earlier, how will he offend me? What will offend Tom Wilson? Whose dirty play will Tom Wilson have something to say about?
Ryan Reeves.
Ryan Reeves v. Tom Wilson.
That has been my new favorite thing, by the way, is, we got Ovechkin, the certified superstar, against the new up-and-coming Jonathan Marchessault. We got Braden Holtby's comeback story against Marc-Andre Fleury's comeback story. We got team no one believed in versus team no one believed in. And who are we talking about? The potential matchup between Ryan Reeves and Tom Wilson.
That is not a matchup, man. They're different roles.
I saw today, I don't remember who it was, they asked Ryan Reeves, like, what do you think about Tom Wilson or whatever? He goes, I don't think about Tom Wilson.
That's the right
Correct.
answer.
One's on the top line, the other's on the fourth. But who scored a series-winning goal? Not Tom Wilson!
Marley's over?
I don't know. Let me check.
Probably not. Lehigh Valley's probably called a bunch of timeouts and
Goal. Trevor Moore scores on the empty net
game's over.
That's it. Sweep. Hey, we're going to the finals, you guys.
with 41 seconds left.
Yeah, hey, all right.
Marley's.
Hey, we got a Toronto team in the finals, kids.
For the first time since 2012. It's been such a long wait. It's been so long. Such a tortured time.
So when the Scott Clemenson-led Marlies, wasn't it?
No, Ben Scrivens.
Really?
It was Ben Scrivezina.
Ah.
And they got shafted by a wrong call. Fluky overtime goal scored by Mike Koska.
Oh, jeez. Who would later come back to haunt them by playing for them.
Yes. Top pairing Mike Koska with Dion Phaneuf.
That's right. Oh, my God.
You bet.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, we're going to leave it for the...
I wanted to shout out one person when I was walking to Rogers. He was on his cell phone and he stopped his conversation and be like, "Hey, Jesse, I love the podcast." So shout out that dude. He didn't stop to tell me his name. Then I was also heading into work. But shout out him. And then I met another listener last night. His name is Daniel. Super nice. Love the show. So if you see us in real life, come up and say hi. Because it's cool meeting listeners in real life. Because we sit in this thing and it's like nobody's listening because it's just us three. But then there's actual people
It
listening.
makes us feel better about ourselves also.
Yeah. Anyways.
My self-confidence is fully based on you saying hi to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to cry in a corner if you don't.
I think that's
Don't
why
let
my
me hang.
swagger's been off. I'm not doing LFRs anymore, and I'm not getting enough.
There's not enough adulation.
No, not enough.
There's not enough people hitting that like button.
Whoa. Smashing.
Or
you might
telling
say.
their friends. All their friends.
What if they liked it, but then they didn't subscribe? How would you?
That
how would you
means
handle
they
that?
didn't really like it.
Oh, can you imagine?
What if somebody is already subscribed, they hit like on your video, and then they leave a nice comment. What else can they do for you, Steve?
You know what? Nothing, because they already did their best.
It's nice. And with that, we leave you with the show where we did our best. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Did we really?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.